Welcome to the Books Bible Study. We are continuing in Genesis chapter 33, verse 1 reads, Now Jacob lifted his eyes and looked, and there Esau was coming, and with him were 400 men. So he divided the children among Leah, Rachel, and the two maidservants. Verse 2. And he put the maidservants and their children in front, Leah and her children behind, and Rachel and Joseph last. So Jacob now will become to know as Israel. He's just got out of a fight. He's limping, and now here comes Esau with 400 men. Verse 3. Then he crossed over before them and bowed himself to the ground 7 times until he came near his brother. Verse 4. But Esau ran to meet him and embraced him and fell on his neck and kissed him, and they wept. So Jacob was not expecting this. How many times has the fear of someone or something prevented us from going in the direction that God wanted us to go, right? How many of you are allowing fear to still tell you, to still direct you on what places you can go, people you can talk to? If fear is directing you, then you will never live the life that God has promised you, right? The life that God has intended for you. And it's not his fault because he did not put the fear there. He's giving you power, love, and soundness of mind, right? Verse 5. And he lifted his eyes and saw the women and children and said, Who are these with you? So he said, The children whom God has graciously given your servant. Verse 6. Then the maidservants came near, they and their children, and bowed down. Verse 7. And Leah also came near with her children, and they bowed down. Afterward, Joseph and Rachel came near, and they bowed down. Verse 8. So before we go past this, Jacob bowed 7 times as he was approaching his brother, and you see that the women and the children begin to bow as well. Verse 8. Then Esau said, What do you mean by all this company which I met? And he said, These are to find favor in the sight of my Lord. Verse 9. But Esau said, I have enough, my brother. Keep what you have for yourself. So Esau didn't even want all of those animals, all the presents that Jacob had sent ahead of him. And so the Bible also tells us when a man's ways pleases the Lord, even his enemies will be at peace with him. So it seems at this point that Jacob's fear began to subside. Verse 10. And Jacob said, No, please, if I have now found favor in your sight, then receive my present from my hand, inasmuch as I have seen your face as though I had seen the face of God, and you were pleased with me. Verse 11. Please take my blessing that is brought to you, because God has dealt graciously with me, and because I have enough. So he urged him, and he took it. Verse 12. Then Esau said, Let us take our journey, let us go, and I will go before you. 13. But Jacob said to him, My Lord knows that the children are weak, and the flocks and herds which are nursing are with me. And if the men should drive them hard one day, all the flock will die. Verse 14. Please let my Lord go on ahead before his servant. I will lead on slowly at a pace which the livestock that go before me and the children are able to endure until I come to my Lord in Seir. Verse 15. And Esau said, Now let me leave you with some of the people who are with me. But he said, What need is there? Let me find favor in the sight of my Lord. Verse 16. So Esau returned that day on his way to Seir. So Jacob's humility, right? Notice Jacob's humility. It fits well with the promises of God for his protection, right? So even though Esau and Jacob embraced each other and wept, and Esau appeared to no longer hold that murderous rage against Jacob, there was still a boundary set, right? They were not going to walk together or among each other, even though they said kind words and they acknowledged each other, right? Same how Jacob did with Laban. Separation is not bad. Boundaries are not bad. Abraham did it. Hagar and Ishmael did it. Isaac and Rebekah separated from her family. Jacob separated from Esau originally. Now Jacob is separating from the family of Laban, and he reunites with Esau, but then they separate again. Okay? Verse 17. And Jacob journeyed to Succoth, built himself a house, and made booths for his livestock. Therefore, the name of that place is called Succoth. Verse 18. Then Jacob came safely, he made it safely, to the city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan, when he came from Padan Aram, and he pitched his tent before the city. So after many difficulties that Jacob has faced, he arrives safely in the land of Canaan. Okay. Verse 19. And he brought the parcel of land where he had pitched his tent from the children of Hamor, Shechem's father, for 100 pieces of money. Verse 20. Then he erected an altar there and called it El Elohe Israel.